Trae Young is one of the most polarizing players in the NBA today. To some, he's an elite point guard with generational playmaking, limitless range, and the confidence to silence entire arenas. To others, he's a defensive liability, a stat pattern, in the face of an Atlanta Hawks team that hasn't lived up to expectations. But the truth about Trae Young is way more complicated than just he's great or he's overrated. His entire career, from AAU days to Oklahoma to his playoff highs and now his current struggles, has been defined by one constant: proving people wrong. Trae Young grew up in Norman, Oklahoma. From the start, he wasn't your typical basketball prodigy. He wasn't built like LeBron or blessed with freak athleticism. He was undersized, skinny, and not the type of kid you'd expect to dominate elite competition. And that's where the first wave of doubt came in. In AAU, scouts loved his shooting, but they immediately questioned if his size would ever translate. Some coaches thought he'd just be another undersized scoring guard who couldn't hang against real NBA athletes. By high school, he was torching defenders, dropping 40, 50-point games regularly, but the whispers were the same. Sure, he can score here, but what happens when the players are just as fast, just as skilled, and way bigger? When Trae Young got to Oklahoma in 2017, he started silencing people quickly. From day one, he was putting up Steph Curry level numbers. At one point, he led the nation in both points and assists per game, something no one had ever done before. But then came the second wave of hate. As the season went on, defenses started trapping him, forcing turnovers, and Oklahoma started losing. Suddenly, the same people who hyped him up in December were now saying he was overhyped, a ball hog, and too small for the NBA. By the time Oklahoma lost in the first round of the NCAA tournament, a lot of fans wrote him off. The narrative became, he's fun to watch in college, but in the NBA, he's going to get exposed. Trae was taken 5th overall by the Dallas Mavericks and immediately traded to Atlanta for Luka Doncic, and that's where the real hate began. From day one, Trae was trapped in Luka's shadows. No matter how good Trae played, Luka was better. Luka was bigger, stronger, more efficient, and winning more. Trae became the guy everyone compared unfavorably. Hawks fans even booed on draft night because they thought the team gave away a superstar. His rookie year showed promise, 20 points, 8 assists per game, but the Hawks were awful, and every weakness he had in college, poor defense, streaky shooting, foul hunting, was magnified. The hate narrative after year one was simple. He puts up stats, but he'll never lead a winning team. But then 2021 came, when Trae Young shut all of that down. The Hawks made the playoffs, and Trae absolutely owned the spotlight. In the first round, he silenced Madison Square Garden, dropping clutch shots and bowing to the Knicks crowd. New York fans heckled him the entire series, calling him overrated, a dirty popsicle. Soft. Trae fed off of it, averaging 29 and 10, leading the Hawks to the second round. Against Philly, he went toe-to-toe with Joel Embiid, outdueled Ben Simmons, and eliminated the number 1 seed in the East all by himself, leading Atlanta all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals. And suddenly, the narrative flipped. Trae Young was now the NBA's new villain. He was hated not because people doubted him, but because he proved them wrong. He was cocky, he was loud, he was bowing in Madison Square Garden. The hate was now respect-driven. But here's the harsh truth. Trae hasn't been able to replicate that success. Since 2021, the Hawks haven't made it past the first round. In fact, they've missed the playoffs 2 years straight. And that's when the hate came back stronger than ever. In 2022, when Miami smothered him in the playoffs, the narrative became he's too small. Once defenses key in on him, he disappears. In 23, after a drama-filled year with coach Nate McMillan, critics said he wasn't a leader and couldn't coexist with other stars. And now in 24 and 25, with Atlanta missing the playoffs, fans are questioning if that 2021 run was just a fluke. So the narrative has shifted again. Trae's not a winner, he's just empty stats on a mediocre team. And now we're here. The Hawks have missed the playoffs 2 years in a row. Trae's numbers are still elite, 26 points, 10 assists, but the wins aren't coming. The roster around him, better on paper, but far from a finished product. Jalen Johnson, Onyeka Okongwu, bringing in Kristaps Porzingis, Dyson Daniels, and the former number 1 overall pick, Zachariah Reshishaw, they all need to make leaps. The Eastern Conference is wide open. The Celtics are dominant, but after them, it's a mix of good but not great teams. There's still a path for Atlanta to sneak back into the conversation if they can gel. But here's the truth. Trae's reputation is at crossroads. If he doesn't start winning again today, the hate narrative will cement permanently, and he's just a flashy scorer who peaked in 2021. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, stay tuned. Peace.